Okay, let's go back to the studio and we can join Liam.
Thank you very much, Ali. Right, boys. Manchester City won, Salford 0. We just heard Ali say there the only shot on target at that game was for Salford. Stephen, what did you make of the first half?
Yeah, probably a little bit underwhelming given the expectations we had. I think City probed a little bit, pushed forward, but not really been that incisive. And Salford have actually had last 10-15 minutes, it's been mainly Salford, you know. I know we did have a goal disallowed that probably should have been given. Marmoush with the replays was onside. But you definitely do expect a little bit more from City. I'm sure it'll come. It's never easy to play in a game where you make several changes because rhythms, you know, is disrupted. And of course, the injury to Elaine early on would have definitely affected the shape and the plans. But we're winning. We're 1-0 up, which is good. That's what you want. And I think Guardiola would probably expect a little bit more from the players. And I'm sure he probably will get it in the second half.
McInerney coming on for Elaine. Hopefully he's okay. I was saying to you before, like, I love a winger that stays wide, and he came on and he's hugging the touchline, and it's just, for me, it's like a pleasure to see a winger who is a winger sort of thing. I mean, you were talking about it before, the Sterling, Sane were both very good at doing that. Is that where his strong points are, being able to stay disciplined and almost be an old school winger?
Yeah, I think with someone like a Ryan, what you try and do is try and isolate him 1v1. So to enable that, you need him to stay high and wide, to create as much space as he possibly can to have the opportunity to go 1v1. So yeah, he's certainly that profile where he stays wide, looks to hug the touchline, and then you want to try and get him into situations where he can be 1v1. Obviously, he's a left footer playing on the right, so he does tend to come inside a little bit. But you know, from a coaching perspective, one of the things you're working with him constantly on is first 2-3 times you get the ball, go outside, show the fullback that you can use your right foot, you can cross on your right foot, you know, and then hopefully the space will open up on the inside. But it's certainly something that the manager likes. We promote, you know, from an academy perspective of wingers staying high and wide and trying to, like you say, hug the touchline, get chalk on your boots, as they say, and yeah, try and make the pitch as big as you can be, really.
Someone coming to Ryan for the first time today, who would you compare him to play-wise in the Premier League? Who would be the comparison?
Yeah, good question. He's a bit of a hybrid, I'd say, of, you know, if you think back Premier League players in the past, like a Robin or someone like that who has outstanding dribbling skills but wants to come inside.
Yeah.
Because he wants to open the pitch up and go on and score goals on his left foot. So a bit of a hybrid of kind of Robin type of player who likes to come inside, and a bit of a Sane in terms of dribbling, 1v1, really difficult to knock off the ball, strong. So probably, I don't think there's probably a real identical one at the minute. He's probably a hybrid of 2 or 3 over the past 20 years.
Good names.
Very
good players.
Yeah,
Did all right,
take it, right?
Big boots to fill there, right?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Stephen, we said during the game City scored fairly early and we went, oh, this is a bad start for Salford.
Yeah.
But turned themselves around. I think Carl Robinson will be going into that half very happy, despite being 1-0 down.
It looks like they've been training against 14 men. You know, the space is working. You know, they've been really good. They've been really compact. Shirky's, you know, he's got into that little pocket of space behind the midfield a few times, but they've closed him down really nicely, or they've kept their shape really nice. You know, either or. And I think they'd be really happy with what they've achieved so far. And other than a good save from James Trafford, this probably could have been 1-1, and they wouldn't have been bad value for that either. I think it probably would have been a fair score, if I'm being honest. Yeah, they've been really good, and they'll be buoyed by that. I mean, second half will be difficult because this is where the fitness and the quality. You know, City's bench, for example, has got superstars in there, and they can call them to finish off the game if they want to. But they should, and I don't mean to patronise, they should be delighted with that first half because, as you know, I'm sure as a coach, you know, you want your players to at least stick to the plan, you know, and have belief in the plan. And it looks like they do, and so far they've been excellent.
A little bit of a strange stat, but I think that makes our top scorer in the FA Cup own goals. 2 last game, 1 today.
Sign him up.
Yeah, get him on the bench. Right, Ait-Nouri has been, for me, electric down the left-hand side. I mean, as a left-back, he can do it all. Step-overs, cutting in, obviously created the first goal with the cross. What have you made of him since being, well, back from AFCON, basically?
He was, well, before that, but the Club World Cup, he looked really exciting. That partnership we have with Doku, it was nice to see a left-footed left back that was a natural left back, you know, who wanted to go forward and offer a little bit of weight for him. We've not really seen the Doku partnership yet. That's something to come, I reckon. And I think he had a reasonably slow start to his time, but as you were saying, you know, in the pre-show, it's almost like AFCON's been a bit of a pre-season for him, which he needed. Yeah. And you know, it's allowed obviously Nico to play midfield, which we need, that physicality and that leg, that strength in his leg and running. But I think he's been excellent. You know, obviously there are areas that he wants to improve, but you can't deny the technical ability. Some players you just look at and you can see their obvious quality on the ball. Like, there's nothing he can't control. Reminds me of his Algerian compatriot Riyad Mahrez in that way. The same level of sort of technical brilliance. And of course, once again, not his goal, but directly involved today. It was his cross from shot that led to the own goal, and he'll be happy with that. And he's playing regularly at the moment. And look, it's such a cliche, but the only way to ever improve is just to play, and contribute. And right now, he's looking for the price that we signed him to be a potentially top class fullback. And yeah, I think he's a really exciting player.
Right, let's head to the commentary box. Here is Ali Man and Nicky Weaver.
Yeah, welcome back to the commentary position. Myself and Nicky Weaver bringing you all the action. Well, I say action, it was not quite that kind of game, was it?
No, a little bit, event. Not much going on. Early goal for City, go 1-0 up. You probably think it's going to be 2, 3 or 4 at half time. And in the end, James Trafford has had to make a really, really good save to keep it at 1-0. So I don't think the result's in any danger, but I think Salford will certainly be buoyed with a couple of chances they created. I think it was Cooper right at the last there with the corner that had a good chance. And yeah, it's not gone all City's way. They've dominated possession as we would expect. And they've just got to be a little bit more clinical, a little bit more ruthless. Can they move the ball a little bit quicker in that final third? And the next goal in this game is massive. If City get it, you expect them to go on and win comfortably.
What have Salford done well?
I think they've hung in there. They've defended really well. They've had a bank of 5, then a bank of 4. Graydon's been up there on his own. He's not been too bothered about dropping into the 10 position. They're quite happy to let Nico and sort of Rico have it in those areas. And he's held the ball up quite well for them. They've took the time when they've had fouls and free kicks, and every time they've had a goal kick, they've not looked to play out at all, which would have been playing into City's hands. So it's been a really frustrating and difficult afternoon for City in terms of trying to break them down. But as we've seen many, many times, as the longer the game goes on, it's going to be more and more difficult for the Salford players to keep their concentration and keep City out. And listen, like I said before, the next goal is absolutely huge, and if it goes to City, you expect more to come.
I mean, Pep's not going to be shouting at them, he's not going to be tearing the paint off the walls, but what would he want them to do better in that second half?
I think everything just a little bit better, a little bit more urgency. The sort of lack of creativity with the players they've got in there, you like Reinders, Foden, Cherky, sort of real creative players, particularly Cherky and Foden. So I think he'll be slightly concerned at the lack of chances that we've created, but also know that it could be just, flick of a switch and they could sort of, really turn it on and get that chance and get some goals. But yeah, it's just been a little bit concerning, the lack of chances that we've created. It's not as if we've missed a hatful. Matt Young in goal there, he's done really well, but he's not had loads of saves to make. And as we said, it's been James Trafford who's had to, make the first meaningful save of the game.
Do you anticipate that City will put those things right in the second half and it become more of a comfortable afternoon?
Yeah, listen, while it stays at 1-0, Salford have always got a chance. We've seen they can be quite dangerous from free kicks, but City, they just need to click into gear a little bit, just try and move the ball a little bit quicker, do things with a bit more pace and a bit more urgency, and hopefully get into those little areas, get Cherky and Foden into those little areas in between the lines. And that's the problem, the lines have been so close together. It has been difficult, but like I said, next goal's massive and hopefully it comes to City.
OK, the thoughts there of my co-commentator, the former City goalkeeper Nicky Weaver. With that, back to you in the studio.
We're very much into the horse race. He's gone over on the first hurdle. What? Come on, get your head down. Use your arms, use your arms. Here we go. Is that a nose? What's fallen off? That one at the back looks like his horse is deflated. It's not looking good. The first guy, is that a little no-look gallop? No horses were harmed in that horse race. But
is there anything from a coach's celebration about the form there?
Yeah, he went early, didn't he?
I could have getting that. What do you reckon? You two on there?
I think Ben's probably a little bit fitter than I am. He's on a football pitch every day.
And your good friend Nicky Weaver as well. He drew the short straw, being out in the cold, and you're in a lovely warm studio.
Yeah, it makes a change. To be fair, he usually comes up trumps with whatever he turns his hand to. I'd like to have seen him on that race. It'd been interesting. With his knees are not in great condition, so
I've struggled over the hurdles.
Yeah, the hurdles could have been a problem for him, I think.
Right, let's talk goalkeepers. Trafford made that brilliant save late into the first half. We were talking about it before, the maturity, the ability. It'd been a quiet day for him to snap into action like that. Is that a testament to the concentration he has at this level?
I think one of the things we mentioned before, wasn't it, about when you play for a club the size of City, as a keeper, there's very few games where you get, absolutely peppered. I'm sure Salford's keeper today was, you can see the hero headlines in a performance from him, but it's a big one for concentration and focus. And then when you are called upon for that one moment, the ability to make that save when required, it requires a lot of concentration, focus, and ability. So. Yeah, almost like a typical half for him, really. Not had a lot to do, and then when he's called upon, he has to make a big save. So I'm sure we're pleased at that, but also from a City point of view, disappointed they conceded that chance and the second one on the brink of half time, both from set pieces. And I think that will just be this kind of warning sign they need. Like, you can't be 1-0 up and concede set pieces in these games, because lower league teams invariably give you a problem and flip that over. We spoke about Salford's manager before the game. I'm sure, that first half was exactly what he wanted. They just didn't take their chance.
Stephen, you spoke about the quality on the bench for City. Do you expect Pep to roll the dice and make some changes at half-time? Or?
He usually does regardless, doesn't he? Maybe not. Maybe at half-time, I'm not sure. I think he'd probably give him another 10-15 minutes. I don't think he wants to bring on everyone on the bench, but there will be substantial changes at some point, just because I don't think he wants everyone playing today to tire themselves out, and that's what you have a big squad for.
Right, I know you two have been waiting for the result of the poll. I have got the final results. 55% of the votes for this Valentine's Day duo. Do you want to get in and see who you think it is? Do you remember who he said?
I can't even remember the options. It's not
give me two then. Just give me two.
It's going to be the three of Sterling, Sane, Aguero, surely.
Okay, Ben.
It depends on what generation our viewers are. There could be a big Dicky and Goat viewing, or you could. Yeah, I'm torn between the two.
I feel like you're both going to be like, oh, of course.
Diaz and Stones, isn't it?
It is Haaland and KDB with 55% of the vote for these two. Fair assessment, yeah. No arguments.
He scored a lot of hat-tricks when Kevin was there, didn't he? So it's fair, a telepathic relationship, those two. Yeah, been brilliant, made for each other. We should have got more years for them together. It's not fair we didn't get another 7-8 years together.
I feel like it's tough, as much as they're amazing, combination. If you try and think of one specific moment, it's hard because there's just so many. It's just I'd buy the DVD. KDB and Haaland best moments. DVD, 9.99.
I just see that goal against Man United here. That's the one I see. Open up, but far post.
That's the perfect Haaland De Bruyne goal, that isn't it? Basically,
if there's one thing you think about, it's that KDB in that space, Haaland peeling off that post, and you know exactly what's going to happen.
Well, no one else makes that cross, and no one else gets the foot to that as well. So it's entirely down to those two as individuals that goal scored, and it's just it's a shame. I think he's not scored. I think he scored all of his hat-tricks in his first 80 games at City. He's not scored any since De Bruyne left, and obviously it's only a season, but I think a big part of Haaland's dominance was the quality of the service of KDB. Obviously still brilliant, but yeah, what a partnership.
Haaland, KDB, we've been spoiled with some partnerships throughout the years. Like we were saying before, we could wheel off players that have excelled here and would be very, very, very happy. Paul Scholes there was with Caldoon. Right, second half is on its way. Here is Ali Man and Nicky Weaver.